Hello everyone, welcome back to Cozy Haven. My name is Brenessa, or Bren for short. Recently I put out a poll on my community tab asking you guys what you wanted me to do for the next Cozy Haven video, and I ended up doing a full world tour. I put a lot of love and work into this world, and I'm so excited that I finally get to show it off and kind of explain my thought process behind it. I just posted it last week, so you can go ahead and watch that. I highly recommend personally. And then in the poll, I gave a couple other options, mostly just different topics that I could talk about. And so today, I'm not going to talk about any of them because I have something else on my mind, and it is children. Okay, let's get this straight. I am not a hater of children except for when they suck. Growing up, I think I was like a pretty good kid, to be honest. I don't think I was like the worst, but I always remember there were these like kids that just, I was like, why do you have to act like that? Like really, it's so unnecessary. And then I was in my teens. I kind of wanted to have that moment where, you know, like the little kids look in on you doing whatever thing you're doing and they're like, you know, like what you would do when you're a kid. I don't know, was that just me? I was in ballet for like all of my life growing up, and so I was like the kid looking in the door watching all the older girls. And then when you grow up, you want to be that role model and have the little girls like watch you dance. And to be fair, I did have that moment and it felt really good. It feels really nice and it's really cute when they're just like sitting in the doorway watching and you're like, me? But I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about kids who just, they just took that moment away from me. The first story I have, I went with a friend to like this mall downtown. We were getting pictures for one of our Photoshop/photography classes, and it had like really nice scenery. There was a bunch of plants. It was like a greenhouse at the top of the mall type of situation, and there was a fish pond, and there were like tables around, and my favorite part, there was a piano. Now, I'm not saying that I can like play the piano, but like I kinda can. Growing up, I did do lessons. I say lessons. I did lessons for 1 year and I could play Jingle Bells. Like that was as good as I got it. But then I think it was during high school, I kind of just picked up playing piano, but I would just learn songs off of YouTube. So I can kind of read music, not from piano lessons. Let's be so for real. I can't read barely anything when it comes to that kind of sheet music, but I also played flute in middle school, so I can like kind of read a little bit of like treble clef, but like higher up notes because it's the flute. Anyway, so I would learn songs that I liked on piano, and then I started making my own songs. They're not like the most crazy songs in the world, but they're cute and I'm proud of them, and I don't know, they're like my songs. One of the songs that I can actually play really, really well, and I would say it's one of the more difficult songs that I learned, is the main intro to Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses. That's like my go-to song when I play piano. I haven't actually played piano in a while, so I need to get back on that before I forget it, because like I said, I can't read sheet music, so it's all muscle memory. So we're at this mall and we see the piano, and anyone can go up and play the piano, and I'm like, well, I want to play the piano. And the friend that I had gone with actually can read music and play piano like really good, and she was like, yes, you need to go and play piano right now. So we wait for the other person to finish playing, and then we have our moment. It was really cute. I sat down at the piano and I played my song. My hands were shaking because I was so nervous, because I knew people were like listening, because there's a bunch of people just like hanging out there. They're sitting there and listening to the piano being played. I played my 12 Dancing Princesses and I was like, wow, what a slay. And then my friend plays. I have no idea what she played, but she played something that was really pretty. And then we were sitting there and I remember my friend was like, you need to play the song that you made up. I think at one point I was hanging out with her and a couple other friends, and there was another time there was a piano and I was just playing on it. There's another song that I go to and it's just like a song I came up with. I don't even know how to describe it. It's pretty. It's a piano song, but she was like, you need to play it on this piano. And I was like, should I? And she's like, yes, you need to play it. Because she's so supportive, I'm like, okay, like I suppose, I guess. I was happy about it, but also like kind of nervous. I think also, side note, I did play the Office theme song on that piano and it was kind of bad. But yeah, I wanted to end off my little session playing the piano with a good song that I could play. So I was like, oh, I should play my song. So once whoever was playing again was done, I got up, sat down, and I played my song. And as I'm playing my song that I had written so beautifully, so elegantly, about 5 or 6 10-year-olds, they couldn't have been older than 10. They all gather around the piano. I think one like almost like sits on the bench next to me, but I remember looking over and seeing like one rest their chin on the side of the piano, and I was like, oh, this is so cute. They love the piano music that I'm playing, and they wait so patiently. I end my song. The girl standing next to me taps me on the shoulder. I look over and I go, yes, and she says, are you done playing? And I say, yeah. And then she goes, okay, can I play now? And I'm like, yep, go ahead. And here's the thing. You would think I stand up and then she goes and like smacks a couple notes on the piano. No, she's better than me. She's like so talented. She brings out like the fastest, like cleanest song I've ever heard. I was like, well, she deserves this more than me. Clearly she has been drilled on her piano lessons. It was really funny, but I thought we were having a moment and we clearly were not. The second story was actually pretty recent and why I wanted to talk about this subject. I went and saw some dinosaurs, you know, at a dinosaur museum. That's usually where they are, at least the ones that you can see. And I was standing in line waiting for my ticket to be scanned. Recently, I went on a little girls' trip and one of my friends got us all Labubus. And so, you know, naturally I had to put my Labubu on my little backpack. I don't use a purse or anything. I just use like a little backpack and carry it around everywhere. And so I have my Labubu on my backpack. And I'm wearing this backpack as I'm standing in the line for tickets. I hear an older woman. She's like kind of a little bit behind me, but also to the side of me because there's like, I don't know, there were like 5 different lines. And she goes, excuse me, is that a Labubu? Now, I was preparing for that to happen. When you have a Labubu on your bag in public, you know that someone's gonna say something. I was so prepared for someone to say something. So I turn around and I go, yeah, it is actually. This woman, she has 2 younger girls with her. I'm gonna be so honest. I don't know if they're her daughters or granddaughters. So they're just 2 younger girls that are probably related. But she goes, oh yeah, my girls were just talking about it. I noticed you had one. And I'm like, yeah. This woman was so nice. She's like, yeah, they want to get Labubus, but like not to play with, just to like have. And I'm like, oh yeah, totally get it. It's like a really big thing right now. And then I was kind of explaining to her, I'm like, they got really popular recently and they're like inspired by Where the Wild Things Are. Like that's kind of their inspiration. And then yeah, a bunch of celebrities got them and they're kind of like really big for that. And she was like, oh, that's really cool. And I wanted to be nice. So I was like, oh, do you want to see the Labubu? And I grab it and like kind of show it to them. The 2 girls, one girl was kind of standing a little bit behind, a little bit more timid, and the other stepped forward and gently caressed it. And then she counted every single tooth. She's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Your Labubu's fake. And I was like, oh, I looked to the woman and her eyes were wide and like a little bit embarrassed. And she's like, oh, well, that's okay. And I'm like, oh, I got it from a friend. So you could be right. I don't actually know if it's real or fake. I can't confirm that. And the little girl was like, your Labubu has 9 teeth. So that means it's fake. Like the sassiest tone ever. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know, it might be. And then it got really awkward and I just kind of turned away because I was like, I don't know. And the woman was like, ew. And then I didn't talk to them after, and luckily we moved in the line after. And you know, immediately I went to the group chat and asked my friend, I was like, hey, this is what just happened. Are these fake? And she was like, absolutely not. I was there. I watched the girl take out the boxes. I don't know. Apparently mine might be fake, according to like a 10-year-old. But according to my friend, they are real. They are authentic. It has the little thing on its foot and it has 9 teeth. hopefully it's real, because I don't know. I assumed it was. And finally, I saved the best for last. Probably one of my favorite stories ever, and I will ride this high for the rest of my life. So the group chat I was talking about before, we went on a girls trip. That's where I got the Labubu. And on that trip, we were staying in a house across from an elementary school. More children. We've done this trip every summer. This was the 3rd year, so we knew how things went. We never had any issues with this elementary school until this time. We were walking back from a cute little garden cafe thingy along the side of the road, and as we approach the elementary school, we see a little boy kind of hanging out by the side of the fence with a couple friends, and he looks over at us. We don't say anything, and then he yells, "You suck." And like, whatever. He's a little boy. Like, who cares? But then one of my friends yelled back, "You suck." And then I think they were surprised we said anything. Keep in mind, we're like across the street. We're not even right beside this fence. We're across the street. So this little man had to yell across the street so we would hear. So after my friend yelled back, one of his friends goes, "Yeah, he does." Like, his friends don't even like him. And so we weren't gonna say anything else. We were like, okay, well, whatever. We keep walking, and then this kid doubles down and says something. To this day, we don't know what it means, and we still contemplate it. He yells, "Look at her hair. It looks bad. It looks like something on top of a car." Like, girl, what? What does that mean? We think it might be one of our friends was wearing her hair in a bun and then half of it down. So we're like, maybe, but how does that correlate? We don't know. But she felt not necessarily attacked. Nah, maybe a little bit. She didn't really care that much, but she definitely went for it, and she definitely said some things that should not be repeated. She called him a little "see you next time." Also said, "I bet your parents cheat on each other," or something along those lines. It was so overboard. She definitely thought about it and then was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna say it." And was like, "I bet your mom cheats on your dad, blah, blah, blah." I'm not saying we're in the right in this story, okay? We're definitely not. And we definitely took it way further than, well, we should have, but also it's like really funny. I think he was too stunned to speak, because then we're laughing because it was so funny. And like 2 minutes later, we're inside the house, and one of my friends was like, "We should go and tell on him. We could go to the office right now and just tell on that kid." And we laughed because we're not gonna do that. And then we walked outside and we were like, "Ooh, we could just walk into the office right now. They're on their lunch break." And then we were like, wait, there's probably a number we could call. So we find the website, we find the number, we call the school. They don't pick up because it's lunch break. We wait a little bit, we leave a voice message, and let me just say, it was a little dramatic. Definitely were like full on Karen, very much. "We are very disappointed and we feel very offended by this child," word for word. We wanted some repercussions. We wanted this kid to be having a talk with the principal. We go back inside and we make lunch. We eat our lunch. We're having a great time because you know what? We have plans later. We have things we're going to be doing. We can't let this kid take over. And then we get a call from the school, the office lady. And let me just say, also one of the nicest ladies. She's like, "Hi, so sorry we got your message. I am so deeply sorry that you experienced that. Could you tell me any more information?" And the friend that picked up said, "Oh, well, there was this young boy. He was over by the fence. He was yelling at us from across the street. We just think that it's not very nice to be doing that." And then she did admit, she said, "We did quit back a little bit, but his friends will give him up. They said that he was not great either. So if you ask them, they'll probably give him up and you can figure out who it is." And she starts kind of laughing. She's still trying to be professional, the office lady. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I think I might know who that is. He'll definitely be eating lunch with me in the office and he'll have to have a talk with the principal." And then she thanked us for calling and letting us know that she was grateful for us reporting it, whatever. And then we hung up and we all celebrated. It was honestly so wonderful. It felt good knowing that we got the justice we deserved, even though we did yell at him back. And then we went mini golfing and it was a good time. And while we were mini golfing, we got another call. My friend picked up the phone. This time it wasn't the office lady, it was the principal. We didn't actually hear what he was saying since we were in public. We didn't have it on speaker, but my friend just looks at us and her jaw just drops. Like, what? And she like kind of covers her hand over the mic and she's like, he's suspended. When this happened, it was like a couple weeks until the end of the year, which I found out if a kid's getting suspended like that close to the end of the year, like that's a big move. They gotta be like on their last straw to be doing that. I guess the principal was also very apologetic and said very embarrassed that there were kids doing this. And they said, yeah, he's been an issue for a long time, or I don't know if he said issue, but he said he's been doing this for a long time and there's been lots of instances where he's just yelled at people. I guess they just went straight up to the little kid and asked if he did it, and he just said yeah. Like he full on admitted it. And I guess also he like waited. There was a teacher supervising and the teacher went around the corner of the school to help another kid, so he like waited for that teacher to move out of eyesight before he yelled across the street. It was planned. They also asked what he said and he said he doesn't even know. So either he genuinely does not remember or he doesn't even know what he said. He just meant for it to be mean. To our knowledge, he doesn't even know what we said. Like, I don't think he even remembers what we said, or he doesn't understand what we said. Nothing about us yelling back was brought up, so we look like little angels even though we are not. But yeah, got a kid suspended because he insulted one of her friend's hair. I will be riding that high for the rest of my life. That is one of my favorite stories to tell. I hope that he's not just sitting there getting an early summer, because that's most likely the case. I hope that he has to do some kind of extra work. I think his parents had to get involved too, because when you call, that's a thing that probably has to happen, I think. I'm not actually 100% sure about that. But yeah, I hope that he had some consequences. Don't make fun of people's hair. It's mean, especially when you don't know what you're saying or what the insult is supposed to be. And that is the final story. Thank you so much for listening to me rant about how kids suck. I'm sure there's a lot of like wholesome moments I could think of if I really dig deep, but recently it's just been a lot of kids just being so awful. And it was on my mind and I wanted to talk about it and share it so then this could be documented for the rest of my life and I would never forget it. Let me know if you have any experiences with kids similar to this, or you know, if you have any wholesome ones too, please share. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and I will see you in my next video. Take care.